Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, iRacing fans from around the world, welcome to another night of racing in our Tuesday Night Truck Series. That's right, it is TNT Tuesday Night Trucks, proudly brought to you by Jason Russo and Pro Automotive. We are running Autoclub this week. Ran it last night in the Xfinity class. Boys suffered through 10 cautions, 6 of them, though, coming in the last 30 laps. So a good race until we got near the end, and then things started falling apart. Hopefully the boys will do better out here tonight in the Tuesday night series with the Camping World Chevy Silverado and the Toyota Tundra. Taking a look at our qualifying order for the night. Out there in front, we have got David Washington. No surprise there. With a 40.524, Travis Browder sitting in second position with a 40.553. Third place belonging to Mark Jackson, 40.566. Derek Klachaki with a 40.604, and Ronald Klein with a 40.620. Very familiar top 5 in comparison to last night. Garrett Potts sitting in 6th place. Jack Watts back in 7th. Devin Armstrong, 8th position. Taylor Potts, hey, a big happy birthday to Taylor Potts tonight. Taylor Potts turning 20-something. Happy birthday to Taylor Potts. Dan Marcantonio sitting in 10th. Back into 11th position, we've got Everett Lane. Paul Cohen in 12th. Bob Wells, Jim Brown lined up for 13th and 14th. Anthony Poston sitting back in 15th. Sean Dewar, 16th. 17th, we've got Gary Whitmer Jr. Dean Viney back in 18th. Joel Wood, Ivan Garcia lined up for 19th and 20th. Lee Ryerson Jr., Kevin Scott Nelson, and Joel Guy neared the rear of our field. That is your starting lineup, ladies and gentlemen. Getting ready to turn 125 laps of hopefully green flag racing out here tonight. Like I said last night, early on, very nice racing. We saw some green flag pit stops, but then they just completely fell apart once we hit about lap 60. Pace car is in. David Washington out on that front line.
Ready, green flag.
Side by side with Travis Browder. David Washington not so quick to get off that starting line like he was last night. Derek Klachaki all over the rear end of the number 51 of Travis Browder, almost driving like it's Talladega. Autoclub, being a 2-mile track, has a very long backstretch, much like Talladega, much like Daytona. Autoclub wide enough to go 5 wide easily. 3 wide, very, very common out here. 3 wide mid-pack already. 3 wide up in the front for positions 2, 3, and 4. Travis Browder, Derek Klachaki, and the number 3 of Mark Jackson. Derek Klachaki on the inside of Mark Jackson. Mark Jackson, Derek, side by side. Derek bound and determined to get off there to the front very early on. Nice pass down low for Derek. Mark Jackson sliding in line in front of Ronald Klein. Back up to the top of the racetrack. Ronald Klein, position number 4, seeing that inside door. Jack Watson, the number 77. Travis Browder has fallen back to 4th position. Devin Armstrong in the blue, number 33, side by side with the black number 77. And that is Travis Browder in front of Jack and Devin for position 4. Travis started out here in position 2. Now, Travis said last night that he struggles a little bit at Autoclub. But still, he come off with a good finish last night. Nothing to be ashamed of. Jack Watts was a top runner last night through and through, as well as Ronald Klein. Number 40 of Garrett Potts in position 8. Taylor Potts in the 931, position 9 on the inside lane. Happy birthday to Taylor. Everett Lane up against the wall in the number 24. And Dan Marcantonio down low for position 11. Taking a look at our birthday boy, Taylor Potts, older brother of Garrett. Running for Potts Racing, a little team that Taylor and Garrett put together. Garrett in position 8 on the tail end of Jack Watts. Number 40 challenging the number 77 of Jack Watts, backing back down.
Caution.
Caution is out.
Maybe some fuel whenever.
Taking a look at the number 22 of Anthony Poston. I tell you what, from the way that looks to me, folks, that looks like it may have been a mechanical failure. Tough break there for Joel Guy. Joel Guy really nowhere to go with it. Laying on those brakes. Tell you what, folks, that one hurt. Number 22, Anthony Poston, bringing out our first caution of the night. David Washington will be leading them off into pit row. 6 laps on those tires. Pretty sure David Washington's going to play it safe. Go on and head into pit row. Possibly not. David Washington, Derek Lachaki, Mark Jackson. Positions 1, 2, and 3, and David Washington will lead this under caution pack into pit row. While we are under caution, I do want to give a big shout out there to Jason Russo, our Tuesday night sponsor. Big shout out there to Jason Russo and Pro Automotive. Jason not able to join us tonight, but I tell you what, if you're ever up there in Massachusetts, in Dudley, Massachusetts, and you ever get into trouble, give Jason a call. Him and the boys at Pro Automotive will be sure to set you up. Drivers making their way out of pit row. Lee Ryerson back on that track tonight. Haven't seen Lee Ryerson for quite a while as he has been moving. Lee Ryerson driving around in the pad Christmas truck. How about it, Lee Ryerson? Have you got a copy?
Yes, sir. How you doing?
Doing good. Good to have you back on the track. I hear you've been a little busy.
Yeah, 10-4. Thanks for that, man. Yeah, I just happened to move up to Pennsylvania, so I was down for a little bit, but just got the rig up and going today, and glad to be back with the fellas.
Good to see you. You're looking good out there driving around in the pad-endorsed 125 Merry Christmas truck. A little late on the Christmas deal, but that's all right. We still think you look cute.
Yep, I had time to get the rig together, but not get the car painted, you know. It was more important to make the race than get painted. I figured everybody would get a laugh out of it.
Absolutely, and you look good on camera. Talk to me a little bit about the night out there and what's going on down there at Auto Club.
So far it looks like everybody's being somewhat civil. You know, we had that one self-spin on that person, and you know, I've been out for a while, so I'm just getting the hang of it again, but so far it looks good.
Now, how do you feel about 125 laps? A little bit longer race this season.
Yeah, I enjoy the longer races, because you know what? It gives us 100 laps to shoot it out and take it easy, and then the next 25, let's get her done, you know.
All right, you sound like you got a cold there. If you do, I hope it's not the flu. Good luck to you. Get healthy, and get home a top 3 tonight, Lee.
I sure do. Thanks about that, bud. And have a good night, and hope you enjoy the race.
Lee Ryerson Jr. making his debut return tonight in the number 125. Merry Christmas, Chevy Silverado. That's all right. Beautiful truck there. Do believe put out by Over the Top Paints and Designs and John Hedrick. Check him out on Facebook at the paint shop, number 224, Kevin Scott Nelson. In the Cheetos. Gotta love it. Gotta love those Cheetos. Joel Wood back in 17th. Paul Cohen in 18th. Paul Cohen in the back off 051 Chevy Silverado. Joel Guy unfortunately falling 2 laps down after his collision with Anthony Poston. David Washington leading lap 9. Drivers are lined up, double file. Prepared to go back to Green Flag Racing with David Washington, Mark Jackson, Derek Lachocki, Ronald Klein, and Jack Watts. Our top 5. Travis Browder sitting back in 6th position. Seems to be almost taking it easy tonight. Pace car is in, and away goes David Washington. And away goes Mark Jackson. Neither driver hesitant this time. Mark Jackson sliding in behind the number 98. David Washington, our race leader. Mark Jackson waiting for David to make a mistake, and as soon as he does, we'll be diving down. David has to protect that line, make sure he doesn't leave that inside lane open. Derek Lachocki up there as well. 1, 2, 3. There goes Derek down to that inside lane. Ronald Klein making his move as well. Derek on the inside of David Washington, having to back off for that corner. Mark Jackson with a big run up top. Ronald Klein coming as well. Ronald Klein knocking. Derek slowed down a little bit. Mark Jackson clear on the upper side. Needs to do a tuck and dive. Will not do it. That will allow Derek that inside lane run one more time. Now this is what they're going to do all night long, folks. They're going to go back and forth. back in fourth. Derek Klochaki trying to protect his runway. Derek Klochaki using every bit of this 2-mile, very wide track that he possibly can. David, Derek, and Mark positions 1, 2, and 3. Lap 12 of 125, 113 to go. David Washington last night actually led, do you believe, 88 laps. David Washington, very skilled driver on these intermediates. Straight line formation for our top 8 drivers. Everett Lane and Taylor Potts side by side. Gary Whitmer sitting back in 11th position coming up on Everett Lane. Garrett onto the rear end of Everett Lane. Everett Lane closing that inside gap. Back to straight line formation. James Brown sitting back in position 12th in the 00. James Brown showing his Sport 4 pad in the purple rims in his Sunday Money Series. Cora Championship Online Racing Association getting ready to fire their season back up. Sean Dewar sitting back in 13th position. He's got a teammate out here. He's got Joel Wood. Joel Wood 3 spots back for position 16. Number 31 of Dan Marcantonio. Kevin Scott Nelson representing Team Kickin' Asphalt. Big shout out there to the boys over at Kickin' Asphalt. David Casey, Kevin Scott Nelson, Paul Pellizier, and Jason Russo. Jason, our sponsor for our Tuesday night series. Kevin on to a run with the number 31 of Dan Marcantonio. Joel Wood and the number 79, position 16th. Hot on his heels is the number 33 of Devin Armstrong. Lee Ryerson, Paul Cohen, 18th and 19th. Ivan Garcia in 20th position. Anthony Post and Joel Guy both 2 laps down. Nice truck being driven by the number 51 of Paul Cohen. Paul showing he's got a bit of a sense of humor. Paul Cohen side by side with Lee Ryerson. Yosemite Sam against Santa. That's one I bet you thought you'd never say. Lee Ryerson with a slight edge on Paul Cohen. Will get that pass for position 18. Pad.org, PADD.org. First Sunday of the month. KMA Racing holding their monthly race for Pad. People Against Distracted Driving. Lee Ryerson on that upper lane trying to work his way around the number 31 of Dan. Dan coming up to the rear end of Joel Wood. Joel Wood and Devin Armstrong battling for position 15. Harley Davidson on the rear end of the number 31. Pretty nice looking paint job right there. Lee Ryerson one more time making a run. Lee Ryerson, the man on the move tonight. Lap 21 of 125, 104 to go. Devin Armstrong showing his support for over-the-top paints and designs. A little bit of heavy traffic going on up in front of us. Everett Lane falling back. They are 4 wide up in front just about. Kevin Scott Nelson watching all of this action develop. James Brown right in the mix of it. We have got some nice racing going on here, folks. James Brown, Sean Dewar, Taylor Potts up on that outside lane. Bob Wells, Gary Whitmer. James Brown trying to find a hole. Appears if he wants to get through this, he's going to possibly have to get up to that high lane. That is exactly what James Brown opting to do. James Brown, he's going to get high and see what he can do with it. Keeping a close eye on that low lane being controlled by the number 62. With Sean Dewar. James Brown back down, getting some draft. Sean Dewar up. James Brown letting off to avoid collision. Sean Dewar up high. James Brown trying to get a foot in that inside lane. Bob Wells coming down as well. Bob Wells in the gas monkey, number 38. What a battle between Sean and Bob. And Taylor. And got G. Whitmer up there. In-car camera with the James Brown. These 5 drivers really doing a good job out here tonight. Kevin Scott Nelson all over the rear end of James Brown, as well as Devin Armstrong. Got about 7 drivers right here hitting it hard and heavy. Garrett Potts all the way back down to Joel Wood. 8 drivers racing their hearts out here on lap 26 of 125. Autoclub Tuesday Night Truck Series. David Washington leading his 25th lap. One lead change tonight. Mark Jackson leading 1 lap. David Washington leading 25. Ronald Klein in 3rd position. Derek Lachaki back in 4th. Drivers up front spaced out, other than Travis and Derek for position 4. Travis trying to work his way around the 0-3 of Derek Lachaki. Mark Jackson, Ronald Klein, Derek, and Travis 2nd through 5th. Jack Watts sitting in 6th position. David Washington out in front by 1.5 seconds. Ronald Klein making a move down to that inside lane, getting around Mark Jackson. Ronald Klein up to 2nd position. Ronald Klein holding steady at 1.5 back up off of David Washington. Mark Jackson challenging, wanting that 2nd position right back. Travis Browder, Derek, having a nice little battle here for position 4. Travis racing his heart out. Derek giving it all he's got tonight. Big shout out there to Race Agent and Hotels for Hope. Derek Lachaki started off in 4th, currently is in 4th. I guess you would say he's batting about 500 right there. Lap 32 of 125, 93 to go. 2 lead changes. 1 caution. Travis Browder keeping a very close eye on Jack Watts in the number 77, sitting on his rear end. Jack Watts running with Southeast Motorsports. Garrett Potts in the number 40 tonight. Potts Racing. There is Sean Dewar, Old School Motorsports. Sean started out 16th, currently worked his way up to 8th position. Sean out here running with his teammate Joel Wood. Joel currently in 14th. Gary Whitmer Jr., Bob Wells. Gary Whitmer in a KMA Racing throwback scheme of the Springfield Armory. Big shout out there to Over the Top Paints and Designs. Nice looking truck there being driven by Gary Whitmer. Bob Wells in the number 38, giving Gary a little bit of that Silverado. Another shining example of paint job by John Hedrick. Gas Monkey Garage, Over the Top Paints and Designs is Devin, and another Over the Paints and Designs truck works his way side by side to Bob Wells. Tell you what, folks, these over-the-top guys, they are working hard out here tonight. Taylor Potts coming on the inside. We are 3 wide. 3 wide on lap 35 of 125. Devin Armstrong was in the middle, did a fine job of holding it. Like I said, Auto Club, plenty big enough to go. 3 wide, 4 wide, really not even a problem. James Brown, Kevin Scott Nelson getting ready to get busy. On rear camera of James Brown, trying to work his way around. Number 33, here comes number 224. Down goes Taylor Potts, Bob Wells. Looks like Bob Wells possibly going in for a green flag pit stop. Hang on to her, Bob. Show us how to get her done. Green flag pit stop. Brought to you by Bob Wells and Over the Top Paints and Designs. Green flag pit stop on lap 37 of 125. Didn't see that one coming, folks, but we caught it. Gotta love the green flag pit stops. Bob Wells with a drive-through. Did not even stop. Missed his pit. Tough break there for Bob Wells. Derek Klachaki in and out of pit row on lap 38. I tell you what, that's too bad there for Bob Wells. The only reason that he would have a violation thereby, Derek Klachaki not waiting until the backstretch to merge back up on track. Direct violation thereby, Derek Klachaki. There are rules, ladies and gentlemen. That is a standard rule. Merged from the flat of the backstretch. Everett Lane in position 20th. Several other drivers making their way into pit row. Gary Whitmer Jr. making his way out of pit row. Now Gary Whitmer is going to show us the proper way to enter that track. Good job, Gary Whitmer. Good job. Rules are set forth for reasons. Gary Whitmer, a shining example of the way a driver should behave out there on track. Paul Cohen. Ronald Klein having a little bit of rear end damage on that number 76. Number 3, Mark Jackson with a very fine exit out of pit row. I see this damage here on number 76, a little bit of rear end. Not really going to affect the draft, not really going to affect the ride. Taylor Potts out in front lane, making his way into pit row. Laying on those brakes for the number 9, the number 931 of Taylor Potts. And here's our birthday boy making his way into pit row. Taylor Potts with a very nice exit way out of pit row along with Kevin Scott Nelson. Kevin Scott Nelson making his way out of pit row. Taylor Potts coming up a little bit early. Taylor Potts, position 15. Kevin Scott Nelson, position 14. David Washington, Ronald Klein back out on that front line. David Washington way up there, about 2 seconds ahead of Ronald Klein after their round of green flag pit stops. Derek Lachaki sitting back in third. 2.7 seconds back off of our race leader. Lap 42 of 125. Mark Jackson in fourth position. Good run tonight for the number 3 Mark Jackson. America over the top paints and designs Chevy Silverado. Mark getting a run up on the number 3 Derek. Jack Watts, Travis Browder. Jack in the number 77 California Silverado. Trying to get up to the rear end of Travis Browder. Green flag racing here at Auto Club. Only one caution out here tonight. Drivers just doing an amazing job. Garrett Potts want a little bit of piece of the action between Jack and Travis. Garrett running a last lap of a 41.233. 5.2 seconds back off of our race leader. James Brown, Gary Whitmer, Everett Lane. Positions 11, 10, and 9. Dan Marcantonio, number 31, position 15. Harley Davidson, sponsor on the number 31. Paul Cohen back in 16th, a little bit by himself. Sean Dewar, Ivan Garcia, Bob Wells, 17th, 18th, and 19th. Lee Ryerson 1 lap down in position 20. Ivan coming up onto the lap traffic of the 125. Anthony Poston 2 laps down tonight. Derek and Mark battling for a 3rd position. Check us out Friday night, folks, as we take the Cup cars and return to Auto Club. Thursday night, super speedway action at Daytona with the 2011 Chevy Impala. Big shout out there to Richie B's Pizza, our Thursday night sponsor. And Greg McClendon, employed by Steak and Shake, our Friday night sponsor. David Washington dominating tonight, leading 44 laps. Front line beginning to stretch out as we do go around this 2-point-mile speedway. David Washington, Ronald Klein, Mark Jackson, Derek for 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. Travis, Jack, Garrett in 7th position. Garrett trying to make a move on the number 77 of Jack Watts. Devin Armstrong sitting at 13.3 seconds back for 8th position. Everett Lane, Gary Whitmer, James Brown, Joel Wood. 3 wide with Joel, James, and Everett. Gary Whitmer down on that apron trying to get away from that 3 wide action. Joel on the inside of Everett. Not able to get the run that he wanted. But James Brown getting a good run. Almost appearing Everett might be slowing down James Brown. Gary Whitmer definitely working his way around and past and onward. Gary in 9th position, Joel Wood in 10th. James Brown on the inside of Everett. Watching that 224 of Kevin Scott Nelson making me want a snack. I tell you what, Cheetos. Haven't had Cheetos for a couple years. James Brown holding ground for position 11. Kevin trying to work his way around Everett and James. Taylor Potts in the 931 hanging back, just watching things happen. Lap 55 of 125, 70 to go. Mark Jackson, Ronald Klein, positions 2 and 3. Derek Glachaki falling down to position 4. Travis Browder, position 5, trying to make short work of Derek Glachaki. Lap traffic of the number 62, giving clearance to Ronald Klein and Mark Jackson. Travis and Derek really putting on a show out here tonight. Each driver showing a good amount of give and take. Kevin Scott Nelson, James Brown still battling for position 11. Looks like we might have some more green flag pit stops coming up. Gary Whitmer in 10th, James Brown in 11th, Kevin Scott Nelson in 12th. Gary's doing a good job tonight. Gary, our Monday night sponsor. Make sure you get your bids in on the pad quilt. Information has been listed up on the KMA website. We are in the final day and a half of that auction. Beautiful pad quilt made by Becky Whitmer. Proceeds going to pad people against distracted driving. Battle continues for Travis and Derek. Mark Jackson with a 1 second lead over Ronald Klein. 3 second gap between Mark Jackson and our leader, David Washington, though. David Washington leading 55 laps. Almost to our halfway point here at Autoclub. Tuesday Night Trucks TNT brought to you by Pro Automotive. Pro Automotive out of Dudley, Massachusetts. Nice battle between Jack Watts and Derek. Derek with a move. Garrett Potts making his way into pit row for a green flag pit stop. Number 33, Devin, in and out. James Brown into pit row. David Washington working his way around lap traffic. Number 62, Sean Dewar, lap traffic. "61 laps to go, ladies and gentlemen." We are going to take a couple of quick commercial breaks. We'll keep that live action on our 4x4 action. We'll be right back with you. We are back, ladies and gentlemen, live action with David Washington. Mark Jackson, 4.0 seconds back. David Washington in an extremely good position tonight, as he has worked his way around the lap traffic of the number 38 Gas Monkey, Bob Wells. Bob Wells 1 lap down. First driver 1 lap down. 8 drivers on the lead lap. Number 76, Ronald Klein, Derek Lachaki, 1 lap down as well. David Washington, our race leader. Ronald Klein giving Derek a run for his money's worth. David Washington leading his 64th lap. Mark Jackson leading 1 lap early on. 5 lead changes. Taylor Potts has led 2. Shandur has led 2. Travis Browder back to 11th position. Travis now the last driver on that lead lap. Devin Armstrong 1 down. Everett Lane 1 down. James Brown 1 down. Garrett Potts, Gary Whitmer, Taylor Potts, Dan Marcantonio, Lee Ryerson, Sean Dewar 1 lap down. As the stats do update from the pit road cycling order, the majority of these drivers have gotten their lap right back. Bob Wells making his green flag pit stop. Green flag pit stops one more time beginning to develop. Paul Cohen, position 18, 1 lap down. Ivan Garcia out there in the lead with the green flag pit stop cycling. David Washington falling to 4th. Derek rising to 2nd. Ronald Klein up to 3rd. But Ivan Garcia, our race leader on lap 72 of 125. 53 to go. Ivan Garcia making his way into pit row, along with Lee Ryerson, I do believe. That will put Derek out there on that lead lap. Nice entry into pit row for Ivan and Lee. Ronald Klein, Derek Glachaki, 1st and 2nd on lap 73 of 125, but David Washington 3.1 seconds back. Ronald Klein on the inside. A little bit of contact there between Ronald and Derek. Derek with a big run up on the high side. Ronald Klein doing his best to get up to our race leader. 0-3 leading his second lap of the night. David Washington definitely closing in. David Washington closing in very quickly, in fact. David Washington at 2 seconds back off of our race leader. Ronald Klein's got a move on the inside. Ronald's got a foot on the door. Side by side with Derek. Ronald Klein makes clearance of Derek. Good job, Ronald Klein. But David Washington at 1.5 back. David Washington coming, and he's coming fast. Caution is out. All right, ladies and gentlemen, not quite sure at all what brought out that caution. Having a hard time finding it. Several drivers very glad to see this caution come out. Ronald Klein up there on that front lane. Derek David Washington. Ronald Klein leading him into pit row. Ivan staying out. Sean Dewar staying out to get their free pass. Ivan Garcia, our lucky dog. How about it, Sean? What a race.
I don't even know where to start, Scott.
Well, I tell you what, I know nobody likes cautions, but I think tonight you were probably pretty glad that caution come out.
Yeah, I was watching a sports game during this race as well, and just my mind wasn't in it. Got up to a good spot, you know, top 10, and I graced the wall because we went into overtime. Just stupid, my mistake. Then I went into pit to get it fixed. I had my thing unchecked, so I never got the car fixed, and had to do a pit early, so I went down as far as 2 laps down, and just, it's been a bad night, man.
Well, I tell you what, you know, I got to rib you since you brought it up. Distracted driving, brother, distracted driving. I got to give you a little shit right there. Talk to us about Old School's Motorsports and what you do out there.
Well, Old School's, you know, just like I told you before, we've been around for a long time. It's just been my passion to have this team for a long time ago. And, of course, you know, we have 13, 14 drivers on our team. I'm trying to get more involved in KMA. And the whole thing about it is like, I love racing over here. We have a Facebook page that probably has close to 1,500 followers. And I post your races every night that you were on. And it's just, I've got people that watch, and they have talked about your broadcast, how the show is, how the drivers are. You know, they've made comments to me about, wow, how do I get involved? And, you know, just, it's a mix of things, you know, and we paint cars. So it's a good group and just for us to come out and have fun.
Well, I tell you what, that sounds awesome. Now that you're back on that lead lap with 47 laps to go, what has got to be your frame of mind?
Well, I'm actually not on the lead lap. I'm still 1 lap down. Ivan was just right in front of me. So I'm 1 lap down. I need one more caution. But I'll tell you, Scott, my truck is really, really fast. I can run with everybody except for Dave. I just need to get back on the lead lap and, make my way up to the top 5.
Well, I tell you what, if you can't, you still got Joel Wood up there sitting in 11th position, and he's been running a good night tonight. All right, well, good luck to you, Sean.
Thanks, Scott. Appreciate it, man.
Sean Dewar, 1 lap down, position 17. Possibly having to rely on his partner, Joel Wood, up in 11th place. Mentioned this last night, Joel and Sean having matching trucks. Choked on my chewing gum right there, folks. Sorry about that. Joel and Sean having matching trucks out here, running for Old Schools Motorsports. Under caution, second caution of the night, but I tell you what a great night. Huge difference than last night. Although it was in the last 40, 50 laps, last night got very heavy filled with cautions. So it'll be interesting to see how the drivers do tonight. Looking at our top 10, we've got David Washington out there on that front line. Ronald Klein, Mark Jackson, Devin Armstrong, Everett Lane, James Brown, Garrett Potts, Kevin Scott Nelson, Gary Whitmer, and Taylor Potts. One more happy birthday to Taylor. Paul Cohen in 13th, running a strong race. Ivan Garcia in 15th. Sean 1 lap down. Lee Ryerson 2 down. Anthony Post in 3 down. Bob Wells 3 down. Unfortunately, Joel Guy, our race admin of the night, out. David Washington completely dialed in tonight, leading 67 laps. And last night, David Washington, definite contender. Ryan Kuhn winning it last night underneath caution. Ryan Kuhn actually winning our opening Monday and Tuesday of last week, getting a second Friday, a win on Monday. Pretty sure if Ryan was here tonight, he'd be right up there in front. Drivers lined up, double file. Going to take an in-car action with James Brown on this restart. James Brown going to show us how to get her done. Sixteen drivers on the lead lap. This is where it's going to get interesting, folks. Sitting at about 40 laps to go. It is go time. Got to keep in mind these drivers are running about 40-second laps. So in real time, about 15 minutes if we go caution free. In-car action with James Brown. Ronald Klein trying his best to get around the number 3 of Mark Jackson. But I tell you what, these top 3 folks, they are riding and running like the wind tonight. David Washington, Mark Jackson, Ronald Klein. Oh, there it is. There it is. Mark Jackson smacking that wall. I tell you what, folks, that is all it takes is one little smack on the wall. Mark Jackson coming up. Wham, bam, there it is. Ronald Klein going for a while. Mark Jackson in the wall twice. Ronald Klein through pit row. Mark Jackson easily hitting that wall, taking out Ronald Klein. Ronald Klein spinning into pit row, missing the safety divider wall narrowly. Mark Jackson, not so much worse for wear, but I tell you what, there was some incredible damage done to Mark Jackson. Third caution of the night. Tough break for Mark Jackson. Nice bit of damage onto the number 3. Deep scratches on the side, deep dents and dangs. Right now, Mark Jackson saying dang, that's for sure. Tough break for the number 3 of Mark Jackson, bringing out our third caution of the night. Ronald Klein not as much damage on that number 76 as what we had thought. 76 actually looking pretty good. Good break there for Ronald Klein. Nothing a little bit of Bondo and a hammer can't fix out. Well, Sean was looking for that caution. Sean already in the process of taking his lucky dog. It's going to put Sean back on that lead lap for sure. I know David Washington not very happy that caution come out. Ronald Klein making his way back onto that track. How about it, Ronald Klein? Have you got a copy?
Yes, sir, Scott. Go ahead.
I'll tell you what, tough break. We had those cameras right large and live on you and Mark. But looking at your truck, it didn't really look as bad as it looked.
I didn't take a chance. I just went ahead and took the reset. It's late in the race, and if I'm going to do anything, I can't take a chance that it's going to be too slow to keep up with the pack. So I had to take the reset.
Well, I tell you what, that was some excellent defensive driving you did, narrowly missing that pit row wall. If you would have hit that, it would have been all over. What do you think?
Yeah, definitely. Probably would have been towing for sure, and it would have definitely ended my night right there. So glad that we were able to keep it off that wall and keep it in the grass. Yeah, it'll be interesting. I try to get back up in the top 5 before the end of the night.
Now, last night, you were a contender out here. All night long, you have been a contender out here tonight. What is the secret to Autoclub? Because you obviously know what you're doing.
Take care of your stuff, run the car as hard as you have to, but don't overdrive it. 99%, it's like I've been telling a few of the other guys that are in the TeamSpeak channel with me, run it at 99%. Don't worry about the car in front of you. Don't really worry about the car behind you. Drive the track. Use your car, and when it's go time, you'll have a little bit left.
All right, sounds like good advice. All right, good luck to you, and we appreciate your support and pad.
Appreciate it. Thanks, Seth.
Ronald Klein in number 76, still alive. Going to check in with Mark Jackson and see exactly how bad of a hit Mark Jackson ended up taking. How about it, Mark Jackson? Have you got a copy?
Hey, Scotty.
Hey, Mark. How you doing, buddy?
Man, we had a major mistake right there behind David.
Well, tell us all about it.
Well, we were drafting along there, and just charged the corner a little too hard. It felt like the splitter hit the racetrack, but thank goodness the pit crew got it fixed up. So.
All right, well, I tell you what, we are in the closing laps, 37 to go. You got to go hard or go home. What do you think?
I don't know, man. It's we still got quite a ways to go yet, so.
So not go time for you yet.
Not quite.
All righty, big shout out there to Over the Top.
Yeah, got to thank my sponsor, Over the Top Paints and Designs, John Hedrick. Got to thank my teammate Devin up here. He's battled through some adversity as well. Do believe I got Mama Patty up there in the stands watching the race, so we're going to try to bring home a good finish.
All righty, good luck to you, Mark Jackson.
Thank you, Scott.
Mark Jackson, Bob Wells, and Devin Armstrong representing Over the Top Paints and Designs. Mark and Devin, second and fourth. Bob Wells in 20th, 2 laps down, but still in it and still rolling. Kevin Scott Nelson back in 5th place. David Washington, though, that almighty number 1 position, holding steady, leading 76 laps. Very impressive. Getting ready to go back to green flag racing. Drivers should be fueled up, ready for the long haul. 36 to go. Outside lane totally bunched up. Garapot's trying to work his way down in front of Mark Jackson. Mark Jackson side by side with Derek Lachaki. A little bit of a bender bang right there between Derek and Mark. Both drivers racing hard. Derek charging on that outside lane. Garrett holding his own on the inside. Derek and Garrett again getting extremely close, racing for position 3. Mark Jackson with a good hard charge. Up to the high lane. Garrett looking for a hole, squeezing in. Mark down 1 drop. Mark with a good charge on the inside, coming around Garrett. Clearing Garrett. Mark Jackson up to 4th position. Garrett Potts still onto the rear end of Mark Jackson. Kevin Scott Nelson in the Cheeto, number 224. He's got plans for the remaining 34 laps. Leaders have fallen into straight line position. According to Mark Jackson, not quite yet go time here at Autoclub with 34 to go. Mark Jackson saving his stuff, as they call it, saving those tires, waiting for the right moment to go. David Washington a half a second lead up on Devin. Devin, Derek, Mark, Garrett, Kevin. Everett up there to join the party, along with James Brown, Taylor Potts, and Joel Wood in 10th position. Derek down to the inside of Devin. Derek up to position 2. David Washington slowly extending that lead out 2.7. Mark Jackson solid in 4th position. Garrett Potts in 5th. Taylor Potts, Joel Good having Joel Wood having a nice battle here for position 9. James Brown in the 00. James Brown, he's got to be feeling good tonight, I'll tell you what. Position 7 for the Cora. Although Taylor giving a little bit of a boost there to James Brown. Everett having to tap those brakes. Joel Wood with a run on the inside. "17 drivers on the lead lap. Anthony Poston 1 lap down. Lee Ryerson 1 lap down. Bob Wells 2 down. Gary Whitmer sitting back in 12th position. Dan Marcantonio putting on a good show tonight in the number 31. Number 31, Dan coming around. Gary Whitmer, Jack Watts still in it. Jack Watts sitting in 13th spot. Jack Watts with a run. Jack Watts coming around the number 31-3, wide. Plenty of room to go 4. Come on, boys, let's take it 4. It's 27 to go. Coming up on go time. Three wide with Gary Whitmer in the center. Sean Dewar down low. Dan up high. Paul Cohen watching all of this develop. Sean Dewar put a little bit of pressure on Gary Whitmer in the number 5 for position 13. Gary Whitmer not rattled in any way, shape, or form. Gary Whitmer up 4 spots from his starting position of 17th. .1 seconds back off of our race leader. Still a possibility for any of these drivers to win it. Furthest back position of the lead lap is Ivan Garcia at 8.9. Ronald Klein 3.7 back. Ronald Klein on the move. Everett Lane, Jack Watts. Everett Lane trying to find a hole between Taylor Potts and Joel Wood. Here on lap 101 of 125, 24 to go. What a change from, oh, we got smoke. We are caution free, but I saw smoke. I know you saw smoke. We saw smoke. Well, I guess no harm, no foul. We're still running green. We got outside lane. It's checking up. It's checking up. It's jacking up. Kevin Scott Nelson up in that outside lane, looking like he's going to lose a little bit of momentum. Be kind to the Cheeto guy. You might want to hang out later. In-car camera with Everett. Watching this three-wide action begin to take shape. There goes Everett down to the inside. Taylor Potts, Kevin Scott to the outside. Everett back up. Thought he was going to lose it right there. Now, all this position right here, this is not for first place. This is not for second place. It's not even for third place. This is for, appears to be fifth place and back. Everett Lane, Kevin Scott Nelson, Taylor Potts, James Brown, Mark Jackson, Garrett Potts. This is some pretty intense racing right here with 22 to go. Taylor Potts, James Brown, side by side. Kevin trying to find a hole. Mark Jackson battling hard with Garrett for fourth position. Mark Jackson underneath. Garrett Potts overtaking him for fourth. Garrett Potts battling back. Contact between the 40 and the 3. Garrett Potts had to let out of that one there. I'd tell you, oh! Smoking off track. We are green flag though. Caution is not coming. But that is Kevin Scott Nelson. We're going to rewind it. See exactly what happened. This is replay. Kevin Scott and Taylor Potts making the connection and not in a good way. Bringing out no caution. Kevin Scott, Taylor Potts, racing deal. Round and round goes Kevin Scott Nelson. No caution will fly, but Kevin Scott Nelson smoking his way into pit road. David Washington out there on that front line. Devin Armstrong, Derek Glachaki. Derek with a little rub. David Washington making his way into pit row. Devin Armstrong, Derek Glachaki, Mark Jackson in third position. Mark Jackson, unfortunately, 3.0 seconds back. Lap 106 of 125, Devin Armstrong. Derek Glachaki, first and second position. Mark Jackson, Garrett Potts, third and fourth on a run. James Brown sitting in fifth, Jack Watts in sixth. Number 40, Garrett Potts using every bit of that apron that he can. Devin Armstrong making his way into pit row, passing up his pit. So they did need more fuel, ladies and gentlemen. That might be a break for several drivers. Right now, Mark Jackson leading his second lap of the night. Jack Watts in second position. Mark is hoping that he indeed does have enough fuel to finish out tonight's race. 16 laps to go. Ronald Klein, first driver, 1 lap down. Smoke on the track, caution will fly. Driver turning her sideways. Single car spin out. All drivers are free. And that is 0-3 of Derek Glachaki. Single spin out for Derek Glachaki, completely overdriving the track, bringing out our 4th caution of the night. Tough break there for Derek. Well, I tell you what, we had talked about pit stops. This is a caution I don't think David Washington wanted to see come out. Keeping a close eye on Mark Jackson, deciding if he's got enough fuel. And he does not. Nor does Jack Watts, nor does Sean or Joel. Ronald Klein, first driver, a lap down, going to take his wave by. Good job there for Ronald Klein. Gary Whitmer in 15th position, 1 lap down. Lee Ryerson sitting in 13th position. Paul Cohen in the number 9, position 9, number 51, making his way out of pit row. Taylor Potts in the number 931, position 6th. How about it, Taylor Potts? Have you got a copy?
Yes, sir.
Well, happy birthday to you, sir.
Thank you.
How old are you, if I might ask?
I turned 23 today.
All right, all right. No longer a puppy. Big boy. How's your race going tonight?
Well, you know, I'm still learning. I'm new to this, but I'm hanging in there. It's having, you know, pretty good time out here. Everybody's been pretty good, and everybody's racing clean. Can't complain.
Well, I tell you what, you're in 6th position. I think you're doing one hell of a job. A little beating and banging going out here. Hope nobody's roughing you up too bad. 4 cautions, a lot better job than last night's 10 caution race. Do you think we are done with cautions, though?
I think we'll have a green flag finish, if you ask me. I think it'll go smoothly.
All right, and what are your intentions? Right now, you're already up to 5th place. Gained a position underneath caution. You're in 5th. Being a newcomer here to KMA Racing, are you going to hang back or are you going to go for the gold?
Well, if you ain't first, you last, my friend. Go for gold.
All right, I like that attitude. All right, well, one more time, happy birthday and good luck to you.
Thanks, Scott.
Taylor Potts sitting in 5th position, taking a look at our running order. David Washington, Garrett Potts, James Brown. He's got to be feeling real good, I'll tell you what. Sean Dewar, Taylor Potts. Joining me in the booth is my very good friend James Brown, and I tell you what, there's one thing on my mind that I want to know. James Brown, how you feeling?
I feel good, Scott.
Up there in third place, I don't know. I think I might be scared shitless. What do you think?
I'm shaking a little bit, yeah.
All right, I imagine so. Hell of a run for you tonight. What is your plans? What are your intentions with my race, sir?
Well, I am going to try and stay out of trouble and just take what's given to me. I imagine I'm going to fall back because during the green flag stop, I only took 2 tires, thinking we were going to go green the rest of the way. So I am afraid I'm going to drop like a rock.
That one there just may come back and haunt you. Nonetheless, tell me a little bit about this Sunday Money Series you've got painted all over that truck.
It's Cora, the Sunday Money Series. Cora is Championship Online Racing Association. We race on Sundays. We're getting ready to start a new season in a couple of weeks, and I will keep everybody posted. We are a money league, and it's just a whole lot of fun, and a lot of the guys from oh, I gotta go, Scott. I'm getting yelled at here.
All right, good luck to you.
Thank you.
James Brown, feeling good right now, up in position 3. Drivers lined up, getting ready to go back to green flag racing. Certainly hope this will be our last caution we have out here tonight. David Washington out there on that front line. Garrett Potts, James Brown, Sean Dewar, Taylor Potts. Anybody's game of the top 15. Gary Whitmer in 15th position. Last driver on that lead lap. Still definitely in a position to win it tonight. Lap 113 of 125. Pace car is in, and away goes David Washington. Three wide with Garrett, James, and Mark Jackson. Garrett in front of James. Mark Jackson with a big run on that inside lane. Whoa, that'll be a caution. That will be a caution. Had those camera actions right on there as we watch Taylor Potts. Nope. Watching James Brown, actually. Watch the line of James Brown. Right there, ladies and gentlemen. That is the point where James Brown's truck began to turn sideways. Tough break on those tires. Now, he said that may come back and haunt him. And indeed, I do believe that it did. James Brown was in turn. And I tell you what, if we have not had the big one, that, ladies and gentlemen, that was the big one. James Brown was already sideways as Taylor Potts was coming underneath. Taylor Potts almost straightened himself out, but he paid for it as well. Both of the old school's trucks knocked out. Drivers scattering. Looking at it one more time in real time. And we have contact. I would say at least 9 drivers caught up in that one there, folks. David Washington still out there on that lead. Garrett Potts, Mark Jackson. Lap 116 of 125. Tires a factor. James had talked to us about how he was gonna drop like a rock. Did a little bit of sliding there though. Unfortunate break there for James Brown. Mark Jackson sitting in third position. Paul Cohen up to fourth. And Jack Watts sitting in fifth. How about it, Paul Cohen? Have you got a copy?
I sure do, Scott. How you doing?
Doing very good. Long time no see, brother. How have you been? And good to see you.
Oh, I've been doing pretty good. I've been racing a little more here at KMA.
All righty, well, go ahead.
No, I'm having a decent run tonight.
Well, you're up there in fourth with the Yosemite Sam truck. Loving the paint job. Did you do that yourself?
No, that's a Trading Paints.
Well, I tell you what, it looks really sharp out there. Now, as we near the end of our race, these cautions are beginning to stack up just like they did last night. Really thought we were going to finish it up tonight under green flag racing. We've still got a chance. What is the attitude on the track after 117 laps?
I don't know. The car's been feeling good. The setup is nice, and the racing's been pretty darn good. And just trying to push it as far as I can without going over the edge, and trying to keep it in one piece.
Well, I tell you what, it is indeed go time. We're going to be going back with about a 5-6 lap shootout. If you think you got a chance to get up there and around David Washington?
I'm going to give it all I can.
That's all you can do. All right, good luck to you, Paul Cohen.
Okay, thanks a lot, Scott.
David Washington leading 96 laps. Now that is an impressive number. I tell you what, he has got to be absolutely, without a doubt, exhausted. If he wins this race tonight, he would have led possibly up to 105 laps maybe. On a 125 lap race, that is just incredible. Garrett Potts, stamina, position 2 tonight. Paul Cohen, Mark Jackson, extremely impressed. Jack Watts sitting in 5th position. Ronald Klein, even though getting into an earlier accident, not his fault. Ronald Klein up to 6th. I tell you what, folks, it is going to be an amazing 5 laps. Unfortunately, Sean and Joel both out. But what an amazing run they had out here tonight. Bob Wells, Anthony Poston, Derek Lachaki falling to 1 lap down. James Brown 2 laps down. But still alive and well. Be sure to check us out Friday night as we return to Autoclub in the Cup Cars. Cup Cars always a lot of fun. Thursday night super speedway action at Daytona. In our Thursday night Thunder Series. Big shout out there to Richie B for Thursday, Greg McClendon for Friday, Gary Whitmer for Monday, and Jason Russo for Tuesday. This is Tuesday Night Trucks, brought to you by Pro Automotive. Once these drivers get back to green flag racing, we will be doing a 5-lap shootout. Doesn't sound too tough. Drivers lined up, double file. Time to pick your favorite driver on who you think is going to win tonight's race. David Washington, a top contender. Mark Jackson, hungry. Garrett Potts has got to be very impressed with himself. Jack Watts, Ronald Klein still in contention. I can guarantee you that David Washington will be getting the biggest jump out that he can. Pace car is in, and there goes David Washington. Mark Jackson. Mark Jackson easily clearing the outside lane. Four to go at Autoclub. David Washington, Mark Jackson, Garrett Potts, Jack Watts, 3 wide with Ronald Klein, Paul Cohen. Back down to double file. Ronald Klein making a move. Dan Marcantonio, Paul Cohen. Actually, that was Lee Ryerson. A little bit of contact there for Lee Ryerson. 3 to go. Mark Jackson trying everything he can to catch the rear end of David Washington. Garrett Potts sitting in 3rd position. Garrett Potts half a second back, trying to make a move on Mark Jackson. Coming up on Mark Jackson. He is up to the rear end of Mark Jackson. Jack Watts using every bit of this track. 2 to go. Garrett Potts up to Mark Jackson. David Washington 1.5 laps away from winning the Tuesday night series. Gary Whitmer Jr. in 6th place. Ronald Klein in 5th place. Jack Watts in 4th. Garrett Potts with a move on Mark Jackson. Mark Jackson has left that inside door open, and here goes Garrett Potts. The fight for 2nd position. Garrett Potts with a move on Mark Jackson. Mark Jackson fighting back on that outside lane. David Washington out in front. Half a lap to go. Mark Jackson, Garrett Potts, Jack Watts. That is where the real race is. Garrett Potts to the inside. Mark Jackson down to block. Good job by Mark Jackson. That's it, ladies and gentlemen. That is tonight's race. Garrett Potts, Mark Jackson, David Washington. David Washington will win an extremely well-deserved win. Big shout out there to David Washington. All right, ladies and gentlemen, stay tuned for post-race interviews. How about it, Garrett Potts? Have you got a copy?
Oh, doing great. Doing great, Scott. How are you doing, bud?
Doing good. Well, you did get past Mark Jackson, but I tell you what, that is an incredible battle between you and Mark Jackson. Talk to me about it.
Well, Mark, he run me clean all night. We got into each other from an accident, but we rallied back. I had a bad pit stop and just kept doing good, and I got to pay all this to Ronald Klein. He's been helping me with my long run, and he got me where I needed to be at the end, and he taught me a lot, especially this week when the tires are the key. So really learning a lot, and this is great.
All right, you did a hell of a job out there. Garrett Potts finishing up in 3rd place.
Thank you.
How about it, Mark Jackson?
Hi, Scott.
I'll tell you what, you got to be pretty proud, Mark Jackson.
Man, super happy. Hell of a race by David and Garrett, man. That was just all race long. I had to battle these guys, and Personally, I had a mistake there at the end. I got into my friend Ronald a little earlier, but oh, wow, I'm sweating.
Well, I tell you what, you did a great job. We enjoyed watching you. I'm sure Mama Patty is very proud of you. Anything else you want to talk about, Mark?
I do. I just want to thank my my sponsor, John Hedrick, Over the Top Paints and Designs, best painter on the planet, and my teammate, Devin Armstrong. Man, he drove a great race. We tried to stay up there all night. Just each of us had a little bit of bad luck, but we managed to persevere tonight and bring home a good finish.
Good job, Mark Jackson, in second position. But the man of the hour, we've got Dave Washington. How you doing, Dave?
Doing pretty good.
I'll tell you what, you got to be worn out leading all 104 laps out there.
To tell you the truth, I was basically trying to work with Mark the whole race, just trying to keep him up there and just trying to get him in the corner smooth and, you know, stay off that wall.
Well, I tell you what, talk to us about how you did lead 100-plus laps out here. What is the key to getting around Auto Club as you have?
Well, the biggest thing for this track is the first 3 laps you just got to lift a little bit. After the 4th lap, you can just hold it wide open through the corners. It really starts picking up about halfway through the run, and probably with like 2 to 3 laps to go, it starts to get a little tight on entry. So you got to kind of lift a little bit earlier, but main time is just keeping it to the floor.
And what are your thoughts on going into Friday? We're going to be at Auto Club again on Friday, but we're going to be running those big bad Cup cars. How do you think the Cup cars will handle?
Well, the B car was pretty good to me. I pulled off and went to pit road, and I let Ryan have all the glory of that race. And the Cup car is my cup of tea, so I'm hoping that it feels kind of like the B car did, and we should do pretty good.
All righty, good job, David Washington, dominating at Auto Club, and we'll see you on Friday.
Thank you, sir.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, wow. David Washington just out here leading 104 laps in complete and utter and sheer domination. Hell of a job, David Washington. We're going to take a look at those race results. Then we're going to get on out of here. We'll check you out on Thursday and on Friday. I am Scott Kolovic. This is KMA TV, and we are working our way out the door. We'll catch you on the next one.